Hi guys, it's me again. I just wanted to explain something. I received a lot of comments on the prediction saying, Emma, this doesn't sound like you. The predictions are very vague. Normally you give more details. And the reason this is not to defend myself, absolutely not, but this is just to bring a little bit of clarification why this year my predictions might be a little bit on the vague side. And it's very simple. We are in the last year, the finalization year of the ascension process, which means we currently have very opposite parallel realities still hooked up together. And towards this year, during this year, these timelines are slowly but surely starting to disconnect from each other and going in two different directions. Now, that means that when I'm making predictions, it's going to depend on which parallel reality you're choosing to remain on. Are you going to choose the third dimensional, fourth, let me explain that in a bit. But are you going to go with the third dimensional timeline, which means you choose not to wake up, you choose to continue the way that you're going, you choose to stay the same person, do the same things, believe the same things, fall for the manipulation, fall for the fear tactics, fall for all the negativity, and keep focusing on that, and that is your reality, and you're accepting that, and that is fine for you. Those people are going to continue on the third dimensional parallel reality. And so that means that the predictions for them will look completely different than for those who are already on the fifth dimensional train, who are hooked in, who are choosing to create their own reality, who are understanding what reality is, who are understanding how this physical reality operates, how the universe operates, how they operate, what their powers are, what their strengths are, how they can control and alter the reality outside of themselves, and so on and so forth. Those people will be hooked into the fifth dimensional plane. So if for 2024, these people will have a completely different possibility for all of these worldly events. So that's why things are a little vague. And if people or other mediums, I don't know what other people are doing, but if they are giving very specific details, you need to also ask them, okay, well, which virtual reality are they hooked into? Because they will receive the predictions for a specific parallel reality, a specific dimension. Is it the 3D or is it the 5D that they're seeing? I'm hooked into, I go according to what people have told me, other mediums, and according to what Spirit has sort of acknowledged through my hypnosis sessions with Sarah Breskman Cosme, is that I am connected to about 18 dimensions on a daily basis. So I don't really have one dimension that I live my life in, which is probably why I'm so kind of screwed up sometimes. That explains a lot, because I can't seem to anchor myself in, because I'm not meant to. I'm meant to be able to access all of these dimensions in order to provide information that'll help you in whatever reality it is that you're hooked into, in whatever parallel dimensional plane you're choosing to reside in. So I am helping people on different planes and different realities, if that makes any sense. So hence why this year is one of the, for me, the most difficult year to actually provide you with very detailed predictions, because there's going to be so many people continuing in the 3D, and there's going to be so many people more going into a 5-dimensional plane, and both dimensional planes will have different results. For example, the American presidential election, in one of the dimensions, Trump's going to win, and in another election, the JFK character, I don't even know what his name is going to win. So it really depends on, and again, those predictions can be altered by you guys, by what you choose to do in your reality that you're choosing to be in. I know this sounds very complex, maybe for many, and maybe many people won't understand that, but you're multidimensional beings, and the realities, the predictions that you will see, what the future timelines you will experience is the one most likely connected to the parallel reality that you're choosing to reside in from now on, because this is the year of making a choice. This is it. It's, you continue to take the same bus and you continue to see the same stuff in different form, or you choose to hop onto a new bus where the world isn't 100% created yet, where it's waiting for all of you guys to decide what that new world is going to look like. And, over time, we're still going to be able to interact. I live on multiple dimensions at the same time, according to what they tell me. And I am able to connect to all different kinds of people. And so will you guys. You guys will still, at the beginning at least, still be able to communicate to people from the 3D if you're into the 5D, and vice versa. But you're no longer going to see what other people are seeing. So that's why a lot of people get confused now, because one person says it's like this and the other person says, no, it's like that. Well, it depends on which parallel reality you're choosing to reside in, because they're both right. So I hope that kind of explains why I didn't intentionally, well, I sort of stayed blurry, I guess, because it depends. It depends which timeline, which parallel reality, which dimensional plane, the 3D or the 5D, which one are you going to choose? That's going to alter the predictions. It depends. So that's why I kind of kept it kind of global overall, because it's really hard to make specific predictions. I would have to do it for all the different timelines, and and then that'll take forever, and that's not going to work out. So hope that makes sense. Now, some people do ask me, why do you always say the 3D and the 5D? There is a 4D, if you're wondering. But let me explain. So 3D is very focused on the I am human and that's it. There is nothing more to me than this. Very focused on the fear-based experience, ego-driven, which is fine. It's absolutely fine for those souls who choose to have that experience, because all experiences are interesting from the spirit perspective. So everything is fine. There's no judgment. There's no hierarchy. This person is better than the other person. No, it's just whatever your soul chooses to experience, and that is going to be perfect for them. So that's the 3D. And then 4D is where we're still hooked into the very 3D perspective on the world, where we're still seeing all the negative stuff and we're still participating in it by fearing it, by going along with the fake news stories and so on and so forth. But there's already a development. There's already something going on, like, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. There's this kind of beginning stages of awakening where people are starting to sense that something isn't right, but they haven't fully launched into the awakening process. There's just this kind of like something seems off, these kind of feelings and thoughts that pop in, and some of them will start to kind of do some research and look into things, but then as soon as something happens, they go back into fear mode. And so they're kind of in between the 5D and the 3D. But there's, the reason Spirit always says you're either choosing 3D or 5D is because those are two extremes, okay? It's either I'm going along with the fear-mongering, manipulative, fear-based, ego-driven, very human perspective of life, or the 5D is, I am not just, this is an experience. I am more than this body. I am more than this character that I'm playing. The awakening is set in, and you're getting anchored into the 5D, because you're starting to realize that, hey, my reality is what I make it to be. My reality is under my control. I get to choose what I feel. I get to choose what I do. I get to choose what I attract as experiences. I get to, influence and guide my reality, because the outside reality is you. It's a reflection of you, and of your beliefs and your feelings and your energy that you're sending out every second of every day. That's why we usually don't say 40, because there's subtle differences between 4D and 3D, but it's not as extreme as, fifth dimensional plane and 3-dimensional plane. That's why Spirit doesn't kind of mention the 4D, because they kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, if that makes any sense. Okay, so there. I hope that it kind of explains everything. I'm sorry if I've disappointed some of you people. Well, I'm not sorry, actually. I'm taking back that sorry, because it's just it's your insecurities that are being portrayed upon me. So that's okay. I still love you. I support you. I am here to help in any way or form, to bring clarity. If you have any more questions regarding the predictions, just know that it's it depends. And, believe it or not, a lot of people right now are hopping in between different, very slight variations of the same dimensional plane, because it's not one, people, it's either gray or, it's black or white, or it's, it's up or down. There's a lot of different layers in between the up and down, okay? There's a lot of different parallel realities, very similar to one another, but are slightly different in frequency, in between 3D and 5D as well. So a lot of us are currently, we wake up in the morning, you really don't know what reality you're kind of in at the moment. That's why we have so many Mandela effects popping up like crazy. It's because you're constantly waking up and you're like, okay, which reality did I wake up in this time? I personally have experienced so many Mandela effects and so many differences, and it happens from one day to the next. For example, Gerald was asking me something. We had just, I think the day before, we had just spent a whole day looking for something that we wanted to buy, and we couldn't find it. And then the next day I woke up, and in that morning he goes, did we go and look for that yet? And I was like, are you kidding me? We just spent all day yesterday. And he's like, I don't remember that. I was like, oh, great. I just hopped into another version. All right, Gerald. Okay, your reality. We haven't done it yet. I've done it yet. I've done it already. So, I'm constantly seeing these kind of things, like picking up of, this is Gerald, but it's a different version of Gerald, and that's what people don't, I don't want to confuse you guys, but that's what people don't understand. We live in our own reality, and we co-create with other entities, other souls. I am co-creating with Gerald. I'm co-creating with you guys. But Gerald as a soul is also having his own individual experience. Does that kind of make sense? And he has his own reality, and I have my reality, and together we create things together. But in the end, we are all living our own parallel reality within a certain frequency of a dimensional plane. And our souls, sometimes our vibration changes, and poof, we're connected to another one. And we do it, it's not intentional. We don't say, the soul doesn't go, now I'm going to change this frequency so I can tap into that one. No. The differences in frequencies are so subtle that as soon as you hit a certain frequency, it's like an internal knob that's turning to find a to find a song. And as soon as your frequency taps into the frequency of a new song, poof, you're instantly connected. You can't stop that connection. But it doesn't mean that both souls, me and Gerald's soul, are not having the experience we want to have with each other. Okay, it's just our experience of our outside reality sometimes can seem to have glitches because we're constantly connecting to different frequencies. But there is a massive shift that's happening this year. This is the last year. This is the finalization year. This is a 12-year cycle. The ascension started in 2012. When the earth had finished her ascension and we had to now tag along and do the work in order for us to be able to remain here. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. Now, if you guys want more details, my posts on Patreon are extremely detailed, and that's where you can find more detailed explanations of all of this. I don't do many videos anymore because they either get censored, blocked, or somebody's claiming them as their own. So that's why, I don't do a lot of videos. So if you do want to continue to support me, go find my Patreon page. That's where you'll get very, very detailed posts written by many different spirits. Tesla, Einstein, Pocahontas. There's all different kinds of entities coming forward and explaining things for us. Okay? Or you can wait till my book arrives, but that's not that's not been going the way I wanted it to. So I'm assuming the universe wants me to do it at a little bit later date. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that one. But I know it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. So I'm just surrendering and releasing. Okay. So there. I hope that explains a little bit why the predictions are a little bit tougher to do this year. And just know that I love you. Love you. Bye.